How's it going, everybody? RazingHel here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Hot Lava. So Hot Lava is a game that is being developed by Klei Entertainment, the same studio behind Don't Starve and Don't Starve Together, which I have covered at length, I think, at this point on this same channel. So Hot Lava is currently in a beta version of it, so it's being worked on, but it's not really an early access game, so to speak, I should say. And you can buy it right now in the beta, and that's the version of the game that I have. And I've been playing it now for about 6 hours, and it's pretty good overall. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I ended up liking it, and I think one of the reasons that I kind of do like it here is that it, despite being a single-player game at heart, I guess you could say, it has very compelling integration with the friends list, or the friends that you have on Steam. So, as you can see here, I'm not exactly sure why it... Oh, these are just the friends that I have online, because they're only about... I think I only have about 10 friends who actually own the game on Steam. So obviously these are people who are just on my Steam list, on my Steam friends list, who are online. So that could be improved, I guess you could say. So let's just jump into the game here, and I'll start off with school. This is one of the... It's like the beginning level. It's past gym class. Gym class is basically the tutorial, I guess you could say, and then this gets a little bit more advanced. And as you can see here, there is a star rating. So these are some of the various... scenarios. I don't know exactly what I want to call them. Levels. Let's call them levels. Here are a list of levels that are available in this ticket. Are these tickets? They're called courses. Let's call them courses then. Let's go with what Klei wants us to call them. Yeah, we're going to choose school. This is the more advanced one. It's a step up from just learning the game. And as you can tell, you know, with only 6 hours in it for myself, I'm still very much learning how to play the game. So you'll start in a building like this. In this case, it's a school, and you'll be able to run around the school. If there are other players you're playing the game at the same time, you'll be able to see them jumping and hopping around as well. Right there is a level. So if we go up to this level here, we can see our current info on it, the challenges that you're supposed to complete, as well as your friends list. So like the top time for me to beat here would be 3 minutes and 38 seconds from Rickety Split, who is currently the friend that I have on Steam with the best score so far, or the best time, I should say. It's not really a score, it's about time. And then my personal best is 5 minutes and 22 seconds, so almost 2 minutes over that. In addition to that, you also can get stars for completing these challenges, which means that there is a pretty good reason to continue playing them over and over again and memorizing the actual layout of those courses and whatnot. Getting through them one time is simply not enough. You'll need to get through them multiple times to be able to like write them off as completed, which is something that I found compelling over other parkour type games. And here you can see there's actually another player. This person is obviously not on my friends list, but you can see they exist in the game. In the lower left hand side of the screen, you'll be able to see my current speed. I think that's speed anyway. Oh, you can actually chat. Where's the golden pin? I have never actually chatted in the game because I've always used a Discord voice when I was playing it, so that's an interesting thing that I just realized. This is a new level that I've unlocked here, so we're not going to play that one because I haven't memorized it at all, and I would probably do quite terribly at it. Let's take a look at the gym here itself. So we have a couple of courses in here, if I'm not mistaken. There's one up there. So there is a fair amount of wandering around, as you might see me doing here at the moment. I'm cutting most of this out, but to get from stage to stage, especially before you memorize the actual layout here, it takes quite a while to navigate through the hallways, which I suppose you could see as a downside. So here we have a couple of levels. Middle School Mischief. Let's do this one. Okay, so now we're actually getting into what the meat of the gameplay is about. And in this case, it's jumping and running. I'll probably do worse than I usually did because I'm going to be trying to narrate a bit of what I'm doing here. Or maybe I just won't talk at all and focus on the game, we'll see. But the objective here is to avoid landing in the lava. I'll try to approach this from the perspective of somebody who has really never seen anything about the game before. So it's a bit of an obstacle course. Like I said before, parkour is kind of at the heart of what this game is about. And the objective here is to reach the end goal without landing in the lava. And you have to climb, jump over, and run past certain objectives. You have to avoid these two hammers there that'll crush you to death. Here's another stage with some hammers that want to crush you to death, and they actually succeeded. No, I did not think I was that close, but apparently I was. Yeah, we got through it that time. And then there are also various terrain features like the fan here. I am still terrible at this fan. We'll see if I can get in anyway. Yep, there we go. This is a bit of an area here with some acid in it. You don't want to fall into that. And as you'll notice, when you get the big green blocks, I don't even know what those things are supposed to be. Those are checkpoints. And we're not going to make it. We are going to make it, okay. That's a bit of surfing right there along those. That terrain can look different at various times. I'm a little bit concerned about this. No. So the deal here is that I have to fall a little bit, and then we can get in. Okay. Still a bit rusty at that. I've played this one recently, but it was a couple of nights ago at this point, so I suppose I forgot a few things. The way you control where you kind of jump is by hitting the S key on your keyboard, so basically going backwards. That can help you stay on narrow ledges and whatnot that you'd otherwise fall off of. I should be able to jump up to this one, yes. Okay, we got past that part. At the end of the day, like, there isn't a whole lot else to be said about the game, I don't think. Because it's mostly about this stuff. You'll see other players come through here from time to time because they're also completing these same challenges. And here's the end, okay. So that was a relatively short one, and most of these courses seem to vary in duration from... Yeah, I did not beat my best time, obviously, there. But most of the courses here seem to vary in duration from, I would say, maybe a minute to 5, 6, 7 minutes. So they're over with pretty quick, and once you get the layout and sort of remember the obstacles you need to cross over and you can anticipate them before you actually reach them, you can do better. So my best time here was 2 minutes and 34 seconds, which apparently is the worst out of everybody else in my friends group who has actually played this mission. So I can most certainly improve on that. And like I'm not even sure I mentioned this before, but one of the points that I had before is that this is a game that requires a bit more physical dexterity compared to what I'm used to. Most of the games that I played, generally you gain an edge simply through knowing more about the game's mechanics. So I wasn't expecting to like this game all that much because I figured, you know, the people who have invested a lot of time in actually physically playing it are going to be the ones who are going to be doing the best. And it's true that they are, but that still didn't mean that I wasn't having fun. Like, it isn't overly competitive in the sense where you can't have fun unless you are very good at the game. Now, simply having that local friends list there, I think, goes a long way to helping with that, because you no longer feel like you're competing against people throughout the world. It's basically your friends, and they actually kind of feel beatable, right? Because they're more average, I guess you could say, than the very top level players in the world who are playing this game. So here is another course that I've played in the past. And I'll just briefly run through some of this, I think, and then I think I'll kind of wrap up. Because there isn't a whole lot else for me to say, I don't think, about the game. And it's a little bit difficult for me to, like, concentrate on playing it while at the same time coming up with something interesting to say. I'm like... The game at its heart is a pretty basic premise. There isn't anything overly nuanced about it. Like, I've played games where it took you about 12 hours just to understand the fundamentals. That was not smart. There are games that I've played, usually strategy games, where it takes you 10 to 12 hours just to understand the base mechanics of the game. And that's certainly not Hot Lava. Like, you get what it's about pretty quickly. Yeah, even compared to Don't Starve, which probably takes 100 hours or so before you've got a decent grasp on the game. Compared to that, like, I suppose Hot Lava here is a bit of a walk in the park. But it does require a fair bit of attention, and like I said before, like, mechanical dexterity, I guess? That was not good. I'm not exactly sure how to best describe it, but basically it's where you need to have, like, good hand-eye coordination. And that's something that can be developed as you play the game. I'm somebody who's more of a theorist, I guess you could say, in how I approach how I play games, because I prefer to approach them from the standpoint of somebody who reads about them more than somebody who actually does a lot of playing of them, which is a bit weird, I suppose, but that's why some people are going to have... I should not have jumped there. So I'm going to have a significant advantage over me here because people who actually play the game will have a much easier time of beating these levels than people who are simply reading about the theory behind how they should be played. There's nothing that quite supplants, like, in real life experience, and I fell off. That was a bit of a misstep. One of the other things I have to say about this game is it does have a pretty kick-ass soundtrack. I found myself like even humming along to it after I was done playing the game for about 3 hours. So that's always a good sign that you've got a decent soundtrack back in the game. It will slow down as you start slowing down yourself. But then if you go along fast, if you're just clipping right along, making all the right moves, you should have no... I don't know why he does that. You should have no problem keeping the soundtrack going. So I might not be the fastest at this game. Probably one of the slower people who play it, but like I said before, the competitiveness of the multiplayer of this game is focused more on the people on your Steam friends list rather than an overall global leaderboard, which I think is a great strategy there for like fostering interaction and getting friends to play it and whatnot, as opposed to doing that global leaderboard stuff. I mean, there is a time and a place for it, and I hope they make it as an option, but for me, I personally found this to be the desirable alternative, or the more desirable alternative for my style of play at least. We are fairly close to the end, though, of this. No, maybe not. I thought we were, but maybe that was a different one. Okay. Okay, so you might recognize this place. This is the actual gym that I was running around in before I actually entered a scenario. It's just that, you know, now there's hot lava on top of the floor, so you gotta actually stay the obstacle course. And like I said before, having that stuff exist in a sort of a fail-free zone means that you can try this stuff out without having to worry about times or dying or anything like that. A lot of this part of the course requires you to walk along very thin holes and stuff. There's one thing I found is that you don't want to get trigger happy. Don't press like the A and the D keys if you can avoid it here, because they will mess you up. You'll start skittering all over the pipes, and that's when you know you've lost. And apparently I lost anyway. Curses. But like I said before, this game has the feeling of it to me where even if you aren't necessarily all that good at these parkour type games, you can still have a lot of fun playing it. It doesn't set you up to be, or it doesn't set you up to feel the need to be really, really competitive and still have that competitive experience with other people on your friends list. That part there is always glitchy for me. I seem to end up jumping on top of that pipe sometimes. But here we are, almost at the end of this course, and right there is the victory. Yeah, so my current best time, just to show you that I'm not always at the bottom of the friends list when it comes to my best times. Anyway, I'm in second place here for this scenario, and 4 of my other Steam friends are behind me in terms of time. But I hope that gives you a decent idea of what Hot Lava is about. Like I said before, the game is currently in beta, so it's still being worked on, but you can buy it. It's available for $10 if you are if you're in the United States. And if you go ahead and buy that copy, you actually get a second one as a gift that you can give to a friend, sort of like Don't Starve Together. So that can effectively reduce the cost of ownership down to $5 if you're willing to split that cost. So it's most certainly an affordable game, and so far I've enjoyed it. I like the style. It's gotten me interested in parkour type games and whatnot. I think it's a good direction, and I'm glad Klei managed to pull it off, because they've been entering a couple of different genres lately with things like hot lava and oxygen not included. Right? It's not quite the same as Don't Starve together, and they've done that in the past. True. I'm not going to act as if Don't Starve is their first game, but it's been a significant divergence, and it's always interesting to see when a game company diverges from a formula that has been sort of tried and proven to something else and is still successful at it. It means that there's something really special about the people who are actually developing the games, at least in my opinion anyway. So yeah, that's Hot Lava. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I hope to see you next time.